When you started using your intuition more and more, did you find yourself a little bit spacey, a little bit, miscombobulated, having a hard time kind of focusing? If you have, you're not alone. Let's talk about that today.
This is your moment. This is your moment in time. This is your moment. This is your moment.
Okay, having taught so many students over the years how to open up their intuition, I have seen it so many times. Someone who is analytical or organized or structured, has a memory like a steel trap, can multitask, can get 14 errands done in a day. They start to watch that kind of fall apart. And then there's a little concern with it. And let me tell you, I was there. I was there because I personally, before I opened up intuitively at 32, my early 30s, 2005. And at that time, I was a type A driven Taurus, mathematical, analytical, organized human being. I was a machine. And I could tell you all of the 17 things all going on right now, the direction that they were heading, what I'm doing tomorrow, what I'm doing the next day, what both of my kids are doing tomorrow and the next day. I had it. I was sharp, right? I was there. Then I open up intuitively, and this is where I'm relating deeply to you if you've had this experience as well. The more I stepped into my intuition, the more I couldn't remember simple things like what I'm doing tomorrow or or how that project's supposed to unfold if I'm focusing on this one. I found that I couldn't focus on 12 different things at the same time. And this is totally normal. And it's completely normal for actually some really good reasons. And I'll share those with you today. And kind of a little of how to approach this, how to shift. What can you do? You know what? Let's jump right on into that. If this is you, and you found that you're, having a hard time remembering this, or you're feeling a little bit spacey about this, or, you're, for me now, even with GPS in my truck, I might miss a left turn just because I'm like, "Oh, look," right? And if you find that's happening, find human tools that can help you. We have technology today that is wonderful. Is this an app on your phone that is a to-do list? Is it a written to-do list? I mean, this is a big part of the Sage Method course that I teach. There's a whole week dedicated to organization in the Sage Method because of this. So have a to-do list. Doesn't matter if it's paper, doesn't matter if it's electronic, but every time you have something that you want to try to remember, write it down, put it somewhere. Acknowledge that the multitasking aspect of you is kind of fading into the background because the intuition aspect is opening up. And this is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. This is a very good thing. It goes hand in hand with self-care, not overwhelming yourself, not taking on more than you should, only handling one thing at a time. In the end, what's happening for us as intuitives when we get spacey or disconnected or miscombobulated in our human life, what's happening is we are becoming in the moment. If you are succeeding in raising your vibration, if you are succeeding in opening up your intuition, then you are succeeding in getting yourself into the moment. Look at any bookshelf of spirituality in any bookstore. You'll see in the moment, in the moment, in the moment, in the moment. That's a really, really big thing. And it's a very beautiful thing because in this moment, you are fully present. In this moment, you are having your full human experience and your full spiritual experience. It's a wonderful thing. But in this moment, you can't remember the 14 things you have to do tomorrow because that's tomorrow. And you also forgot what you did yesterday because that's yesterday. So the more you open up your intuitive channel, the more you are, I want to say pushing. yourself into, but I more so want to say welcoming yourself to be in the moment and present, actually present. What happens in that moment where you're present, open intuitively, you have deeper emotional experiences, deeper connections. You are fully engaged in what you're focused on. Now, everyone is wired differently. Everyone is wired differently. And I've had many people come through my courses and into the community who have ADHD and they have a hard time focusing on different things. I personally have hyper focus, kind of a structure in my mind where historically I could hyper focus on 14 different things all at the same time and not let them any of them go. Whereas I have a lot of people in the community, these amazing souls who bounce from one thought to a different thought. I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that, going to go do this, going to do that. And the conversations come up quite frequently of, well, how do you manage intuition when you have ADHD? Actually, intuition flows a little bit better through ADHD because ADHD, and I am not a medical professional, I will say that right here and right now. But ADHD with intuition is a combination of being in the moment right now and right now and right now and right now and right now. And another pattern that I see with people who have ADHD is that they are brilliant. They are some of the most creative, brilliant people I have ever met in my life. And that creativity and that brilliance happens in the moment. In the moment. And if in that moment the creativity no longer focuses on this and it turns to focus on this, that's perfection. However, in, I'm going to say old school because my heart is skipping a beat that things are changing for awareness. But the old school thought is no, every person should focus on something and stay that with that and complete the task. You should know what you're doing tomorrow. You should remember what you did. You should, you should, you should, you should, you should. I'm done with the shoulds. Okay. So intuition has nothing to do with shoulds. We can't even get those two things together. We're all set. Intuition's free flowing. Being in the moment is free flowing. Being in the moment authentic to you is perfection. Being in the moment authentic to someone else's expectation is not good. That's not good. That's off path. On path, which is all we are concerned about, on path or off path. Off path is living and functioning by somebody else's standards. On path is living and functioning by yours. And your intuition is so unique from anyone else's that you are the only one that can say, that you being in the moment in this way and functioning this way is perfection for you. You're the only one that can say that. We can take suggestions from people and try them out. I've heard great suggestions of, have a really great calendar, have calendar reminders, have to-do lists. These are the suggestions that work for me. Every morning I get up, I open up my calendar and say, okay, what am I doing tomorrow or today? I mean, literally, what am I doing this afternoon? And then I plan my day that morning. I struggle if I plan it the day before now because I'm completely having different intuitive feelings this morning than I did yesterday, right? Other people have had wonderful suggestions of like, if you struggle getting X, Y, and Z done, wake up in the morning and put on shoes. The putting on shoes is the act of saying, I'm going to do this, right? So we can take suggestions to help us with this focus and memory and being able to multitask. We can take suggestions, take them, try them. The ones that work, keep them. The ones that don't, throw them out. And remember, being spacey or forgetful or things like that is indeed a side effect of a very high vibration, your intuition flowing, because every time you struggle with multitasking, you're struggling with spreading your attention to multiple things in different areas of your timeline. If you are multitasking to get 7 errands done that day, and you also are trying to plan in your mind a birthday party for next week, and you're also thinking over the conversation you had yesterday, your intuition is going to be shut down. Now, most my students know this, and most often you'll find me talking about clutter with intuition. Intuition is blocked by clutter. Let me make this really clear. If I can open up intuitively, anyone can. Remember, scientific, skeptic, type A Taurus. And I open up intuitively, worked as a professional intuitive, and now I teach people all over the world to use their intuition. It's a wonderful thing. If I can do it, you can do it. Everyone can do it. Why? Because everyone's intuition's strong. This is not a special gift one person has and another one doesn't. It's a matter of, have you uncovered it or have you decluttered it? Or wait, have you cluttered it or decluttered it? A cluttered intuitive channel is dull. An uncluttered intuitive channel is wide open. So, decluttering involves organizing our life, organizing our emotional state, maybe cleaning out a junk drawer, maybe having that conversation with somebody finally that you've always wanted to have with them. Any item in your mind that is taking up real estate is one tiny piece of clutter, cluttering up your intuition. Do you have to unclutter everything? No. Do you have to be perfect? No, absolutely not. I'm not striving for it. I'm here to have a good time and have my human life and spiritual life, but I do continually work to make sure that I don't, at this point in my intuitive journey, gather a lot of clutter. When I do, I attack it very quickly and try to get through it in order to clear it out. But clutter will do that. That is what blocks your intuition. And when you start to declutter, the act of decluttering opens the channel. It's not a final game. You don't have to have everything organized. It's the act of decluttering that opens up that intuitive channel. So when we declutter, we are letting go of some of the old patterns of multitasking, overdoing it, um, over scheduling, saying yes to every single person that wants something from you. Like these are the things that we start to handle moving forward, opening up our intuition. We start to live less cluttered and we start to get into the moment. Instead of our minds going here, 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 we get into the moment. And whether you in that moment is a focused individual or an individual that jumps from creative thing to creative thing or task to task, it doesn't matter. What matters is being in the moment. And that is going to cause you in a really wonderful way to struggle with taking on clutter. See how that works? Comes all the way around there. So we declutter our intuition, we do the inner work, we balance our lives, we stop taking on too much, we stop multitasking. It gets us into the moment. That opens up our intuition. And then there comes a day where we go, wow, my intuition's really open, but I can't seem to remember a thing. And I seem to be really spacey and I don't know why. Just remember, you're in the moment. That's why. You're living your spiritual experience now. That's why. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, if you can relate to this, tag a friend in here, especially if you know that other friend that's really, spacey and, can be kind of chaotic with not being able to get all their multitasking done. If this relates, share it with a friend or leave me a comment letting me know your story. I'd love to hear it.
This is your moment.